You've
eXp
got a
training,
dream, a
January
vision
9th.
to chase. 6 figures in the making, find your space. But mindset rules what's in your head. Doubts are yuck, believe instead. You're not here to convince or plead. Just find the ones with the open need. You're the flashlight, guide their way. If they don't want it, that's okay. Learn! Define your dream, make it clear. Freedom's calling, can you hear? Step by step, build your team. Agent Attraction, live your dream.
Good morning, everybody. Exciting. It's
Nice.
Agent Attraction for Dummies. I'm only using that title because, of course, we've seen that in almost every industry. And I want you to understand it really is a simple process to build to a six-figure income over the next 2 to 5 years. I believe it can be a residual. I believe it can be a passive income if you recruit the right agents and you support them in the right way. And today we're going to talk about each and every one of those things. I am going to use the chat box periodically. I think if I can figure out how to use the chat box on this screen, give me a second. Let me see if I can get a chat worked up here. I may not. It may have to come after the fact. But I want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to enjoy what we're about to share with you today. We've developed a pattern. I've been working this pattern for many, 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 many years outside of eXp and brought it to eXp. And today I'm going to give you a little bit more of my thumbprint of the way I build my RevShare group. And my recommendation is if you don't have a tried and true successful method, then you might as well adopt mine, especially because I'll be here to support anything that you do. So with that said, let's move ahead and let's talk about exactly the mindset that you would need. In order to understand yourself, you need to understand yourself. And what I mean by that is when your beliefs work for you, then doubt doesn't creep in. And as you heard in the song, until what I'm about to share with you are your beliefs, it's going to feel like work, and nobody likes that four-letter word. And you're going to create doubt. And of course, yuck's my favorite word when we think of doubt. Here's the mindset that I go into. Now, with every day when I'm attracting anyone for anything, number one is I'm always looking for the person who's looking for me. My job isn't to convince, nor is it yours. Why waste energy trying to get someone to look at something that they're not open to when there's another soul, another person, another agent that may be more well to receive the message that you have for them? It becomes work when you start working against the elements. And often agents bring you an element that you don't have to compete with. You're only looking for the agents that are looking for you. So remember, it's not our job to convince. Now remember, you also have the keys to the kingdom. As Sean Sturrock always says, we have the blessings to offer. So the idea behind it is just hold the flashlight. Some want to be guided, and it's okay if others don't. It's the second part of this that messes with your mind. Once you adopt the concept that you're only looking for the one that's looking for you, you're only looking for the one that's wanting to be guided, then the negatives doesn't creep into your head. And again, your head controls everything. Some of you think your credibility is important. Well, your credibility matters if you have it, but it doesn't matter if you don't. And lastly, if you don't follow this advice, you're always going to be working too hard and thinking too much. You've got to give yourself time, allow time to get better. Because the longer you do what we're about to share, the luckier you will get. So there is a pattern of success to build to six figures in the next 2 to 5 years. And yes, there's one typo. The first thing is you have to define why you're doing it. It's very important to know why you would pick up the phone to call anybody, why you would do something other than transactions. You've got to make basic commitments. And then, yes, you've got to do what many of you heard called Lisa. And I can't believe number 3 says Lisa. It's supposed to say list. And then we're going to invite people. We're going to share the presentation. We're going to answer questions. And then we're going to come back to someone that's been doing this for a while so we can counsel with them to get better. And then you'll teach this pattern and you'll rinse and repeat. It's not all about the money, but I've always found that most of the time it is. Having all the money in the world doesn't solve all of your problems, but not having enough creates some of their own. So let's define our dream by understanding why a residual income. Well, the first thing I want to ask is what are the alternatives? As I recruit agents and have been doing that here for 5.5 years, or 6.5 years, I think at this point, um, the number one thing they tell me that they're going to do for retirement is rentals. And my answer to them is, really? How's that program going for you so far? How long you been doing real estate? How many rentals you got? How much cash flow flowing your way? So if you don't enjoy going into each year looking for your next deal, why stay on the hamster wheel? Again, typos in there, but hey, it's the first production of this, so hopefully you'll still enjoy it and it'll make a difference. If you don't enjoy going into each year looking for your next deal, why stay on the hamster wheel? And the only way to get off the hamster wheel, in my opinion, and eXp gives us a glorious way to do that, is by building a rev share group so you never start at zero on a monthly basis. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time today talking about something I've developed called the Freedom Chart. It's a concept of building in fives. And what I want you to do is go to the chat box, and rather than send me your email, but we rewrote it. So yeah, send me in the chat box your name and your email address, and I'll send you a Freedom Chart. Bill, if you'd be kind enough to take all of those down for me, I would truly appreciate it, because again, I'm in the middle of narrating. And we are going to talk about the Freedom Chart, but we're going to talk more about it on the 20th. I'm doing a training a week from this Monday, and it's going to be all about mindset. We're going to take the slot that's normally held for people to teach you techniques on every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern, but I'm going to spend a few minutes then talking about this called the Freedom Chart. It's a belief builder. It's a track. What gets measured gets done. But I want, for those of you that have never seen it, to understand this. This is an example of an agent, could be you, and you go out and sponsor, if your name's Susan, you go out and sponsor someone named Alex. The minute you sponsor Alex and you check this box, if you look over here to the upper right, you're now making up to about $2,800 a year. This is a maximum income, but I like to deal with maximum intensity. You're not likely to make all the 2,800. eXp plays up to 2,800, but that's a good barometer, a good temperature maker, and a good motivator. If you went out there over the next, by the way, if you helped Alex bring in Frank, those two people mean $6,000 or about $6,000 a year to you, right? But if you didn't, and you just helped Alex, you brought Bob in, you brought Carol in, you brought Donna in, and you brought Eli in, over the next month, 6 months, or a year, you're now making $14,000 plus the stock that the company gives you. You now have $16,000 going into your next year to cover your cap. If each of those people brought one agent, and we will teach you how to do that, the bottom line is you're now at $30,000 of income on a yearly basis, assuming these are capping agents, and we'll talk about that in just a minute, and assuming that they stay at eXp. Now, I have noticed most capping agents that build a small revenue share group never leave. So I look at this as passive and residual. But again, happy to get you a chart. Looking forward to doing that if you put your name and your email address in the box. Now, lastly, I want to say, again, on the 20th, we're going to cover something very, very important. It's Monday the 20th, a week from Monday. We're going to talk about not only what motivates people, but what will kick you out of the game. I'm more concerned about why you stop working than why you start working. Okay, we'll talk about that in just a minute. Everybody knows that you want revenue share to work. You think it can work. You know that you can work, but the real question always is, when will it work? And that's a concern that kicks people out of activity. So what I'm going to do is kick you right back in.
Too many of us confuse that the short-term impacts that we're having are producing long-term value, or conversely, having no short-term impact means we're having no value. So for example, you can't go to the gym for 9 hours and get into shape. It literally doesn't work, no matter how much effort you put in. But if you work out every single day for 20 minutes, guaranteed 100% you will get into shape. When will you get into shape? No clue. Over time. And everyone's different. Some people a little quicker, some people a little slower. And yet we are 100% sure it'll 100% work. I just don't know when. And we're also obsessed with predicting when. It has to be this quarter, it has to be the end of the year, it has to be when we pay taxes. And I got very comfortable saying, I know that if I stick to the process, I know 100% it's gonna work, and I have to get comfortable that I have no control over when.
And that's the way you have to look at agent attraction. You don't know how quickly agents will follow you. Some of us have a natural propensity, a comfort level of attracting agents. Some of us have credibility. Some of us don't have either of those. So the bottom line is, for everyone, the timeline is different, but the work should be the same. I've seen agents at eXp that get lucky in the first month. By doing what? By finding an agent that not only wants to come, but wants to recruit a whole bunch of agents. Well, that agent, whether they are strong with experience, whether they have great credibility, their group's going to blow up because they happen to find someone that is open and someone that is interested. So with that said, you can't rely on outer motivation. Excitement gets you going, but commitment keeps you flowing. Until, of course, results keep you growing. In order to play with your head, in order to not have the negativity have a negative impact on your head, I wanted to remind everybody that the Freedom Team has a website. Now, it's freedomteamsupport.com. You can see it right here. The calendar is right here. Every month, we post a calendar of all the events. There's lots of things here. But the most important thing to keep your head space in a positive state is your brain bucket. So go to the brain bucket, start listening to these on a daily basis. I recommend at the beginning of your day. Some people also want to do it at the end of the day. Some of you will need it in the middle of the day, but there's lots of resources, lots of them, to get your head back to the game. And what's the game? The game isn't recruiting. The game is life. The game is positive, back in a mindset where anything is possible. Because when you have a mindset that anything is possible, guess what? Anything is possible. You create the space to do the work. Your transactions do not have to be impacted. Don't let transactions or the need for transactions lead to your failure. We're going to ask you to spend anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes to up to an hour a day on agent attraction. I personally rarely spend more than 15 minutes daily doing agent attraction from the work side, meaning reaching out to agents. I don't spend more than about 15 minutes normally doing that, but I do it every day, Monday through Friday, and we'll talk about what that looks like. Because if you call 5 a day or have 1 conversation per day, it can feel lonely. I want you to know it will feel lonely, but consistency, truly, that and your desire and dream and your vision for what life could be like is your only friend. If you called 5 people a day, Monday to Friday in 2025, you would reach out to 1,320 agents. I know, where am I going to get those names? We'll cover that in a minute. But I want you to understand, 1,320 agents, out of those, you think 5 of them are open-minded and frustrated with their broker? I promise you, the numbers will follow the activity, but you've got to stay in the game long enough. When it comes to inviting, I want you to understand that the flow is we contact to invite. The reason you're making the call is to invite them. I don't want you to lose sight at the beginning of your phone call why you're calling. I'm calling them to invite them to look. And so what I'm going to recommend is you become a professional inviter and make $1 zillion in rev share. Okay? The group and the tools will do the rest. Remember, you're looking for the agent that's looking for you. Your job is just to ask if they're looking for you. You might wonder, what do I say? Why do I say it? Well, the invite that I'm going to share with you is designed for sorting people, not convincing people. If you're the type that's going to try to convince someone over the phone, you're going to lose the battle most of the time. Even if you win that little battle, you're going to lose the war. I'm looking for agents when I call them that are frustrated with their broker, frustrated with their income, frustrated with their real estate career, frustrated with their lead generation, their support, frustrated with guidance, frustrated with training. All of these are avenues for them to find what they're looking for at eXp. So the bottom line is, I want you to remember, you're looking for the agent that's looking for you. Where do you find the script? Well, I'm going to recommend you come back to, again, Freedom Team Support, and you go to Attraction Scripts. Here's the attraction script I tend to use. There are a number of others. The rest of the training today will be based on you using a script right here that says something like, I'm reaching out to find out if you're curious or interested to know why 100,000 agents have come to only one company over the last 5 years, and that's eXp. I'm not asking you to change brokerages. I'm just asking if you'd invest 15 minutes to find out why all these agents have come. If at the end of that script, they say yes, then I know what to do with them. I move them to a presentation. If they say no, I know what to do with them. I don't have to call them again. But most agents will push back. They'll do a basic, I'm not sure. You can see it or hear it. That sort of, I don't think I'd really be interested, or, I just changed brokers. Normally it starts with words like, Doesn't always. But what you have to sense is not their words, it's their attitude. If there's someone that's negative, you'll know it. If there's someone that's positive, you'll know it. Most of the people will be in the middle, so you have to feel it, and it only comes with time. Now, remember this, that a fool can ask more questions than a wise man can answer. Also, understand that ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice. So when it comes to talking to people, I understand they can ask any question because I'm not calling them a fool, but I'm not wise enough to answer all of them. So I'm going to answer virtually none of them. I recommend you don't answer most of them either. I recommend that you understand that when they ask a question, it's the knee-jerk reaction of what they always do. So what your job is on the very bottom, you'll see prepare for a pushback, a single pushback. I handle one pushback. A pushback sounds like I just changed brokerages. I like it here. I'm at 100%. And my response is always the same. I say, oh, okay. I generally do it just like that. Oh, okay. So you're at 100%. Well, let me say this. As long as I know you're not looking to change brokerages, would you still be interested or curious to invest just 15 minutes to find out why 100,000 did? Many of them love their broker. Many of them came from 100%. Many of them, and I just repeat it. Again, I know you're not likely to change, but I'm sure something in the video is going to make your jaw drop. And there won't be any pressure. Can we schedule just 15 minutes just to show you the video, right? Or show you the presentation. So I want you to understand that I accept a pushback. I repeat it. I acknowledge they're not likely to move, but would they still be curious as long as I know that they're at 100%? Now, when it comes to the script, I want you to memorize it, internalize it, and over time, personalize it. Again, over time. You should practice it as is. Practice with the mirror, practice with the person that sponsored you, practice with any of us, practice with your kids. You feed them and you clothe them and you house them. Practice with anybody, practice with the dog. They'll ignore you. The cat easily will, but I want you to practice it. The more practice doesn't make perfect, It gives you room for improvement, and only after improvement will perfection occur. I get this question often. When the conversation starts, is it a big conversation, a short conversation? How did I get to the invite without going through the list? I apologize. I'll go back in just a second. But when you're calling your list, I want you to understand that some people, as you are agents that are comfortable, you're comfortable having a conversation. Hey, if you're calling someone, hey, Denny, how's it going? How'd your year go? How'd you end up? Blah, blah. And it's a conversation. If you're good at doing that, do it. If you're not good at doing it, go right to the point. And going to the point can be done in a very comfortable way. Hey, Paul, look, I can hear you're in a hurry. Let me tell you why I called. By the way, that's also a great transitional phrase. When you're warming them up, talking about the industry, talking about things related to life or real estate, bring it all the way back by this line. Hey, Paul, let me tell you why I called, and then go right into the script. Again, for those of you that are not warm-up oriented, or you don't really know the agents, or they seem like they're in a hurry, then just go, hey, let me tell you why I called. If you're a warm-up personality and they're a warm-up conversation, have the warm-up. Now, who are you calling? Let's go back to the screen. I apologize not having it before. Your list is to create a written prospect list. It's written. Written means it looks like this. This is not your phone. This is names taken to a list from your phone. Whether you do it on CRM, you do it on a Google Sheet, you do it on an Excel spreadsheet, doesn't matter to me and shouldn't matter to you. Do whatever you want to do. But I want you to understand, again, that you want to create a list of written names. Who should I call? Every agent you know, and then some that you don't. Okay, second answer to that is call the hot people first, people you know well. Call the warm people, the people that you know, but you don't reach out all the time. Second, then call the people that you rarely connect with or are in your market and you haven't connected with. And then I'll show you where to get some lists to get any agents you want. Your agent list is your inventory for agent attraction, just like your buyers or sellers are your carryover inventory for profitability in transactions. If you really want to know where to get names, then my good friend and founding partner of the Freedom Team, Tim Holland, did a video on it called, I don't know why it's there, the 7 ways to, sorry about that, Tim, 7 ways to build your attraction list with Tim Holland. It can be found in the Freedom Team feed in Workplace. Highly recommend you, even if you have a list, go through this hour and understand how big your list can be. Remember, when you're out of names, you're out of business. Another way to gather names and a list in your market is using something we've been using for years called Market View Broker. We're going to talk a little bit about that this coming Monday because we have a news source that I believe motivates me more. It motivates me more and probably will motivate you more. And again, we're covering it this coming Monday because it has an AI component that will tell me not only the agents in my area, the volume that they do, but it'll also, based on AI, which ones are more likely to move and which ones are less likely to move. It is easily worth the investment to have this database because it creates more belief in me that when I'm calling someone, I'm calling a more exciting list, a list of higher value, a list of people who are more inclined based on their numbers and the way AI is driven. Don't forget, that's this coming Monday, same time, same link, and we're going to interview the national sales manager of this company. He'll explain exactly what they do and why they do it. So this coming Monday, don't miss that. The following Monday, don't miss Mindset. You're focused, experienced agents only. Can you recruit newbies? You can. If you're a newbie, no disrespect, but I don't look for agents that don't have credibility, experience, because I'm looking for two things when I recruit an agent. I'm looking for income, which means they need to sell real estate. And if they don't have an experience, I'm not sure they're going to sell any. And if they don't have any credibility, it's hard for me to believe they're going to build a revenue share group. Although you, as a brand new agent, if you're here, we will teach you how to do that. They have less of a Rolodex. They have less connections and they have less credibility. So I'm looking for agents that make my time worthwhile. So if I'm out there looking for new agents, I'm looking for experienced agents who sell real estate. If I find new agents, I recruit the heck out of them and I plug them into our mentor system and I work with them at their level. Again, happy to work with any new agents if they find me, but I don't go out there looking for them. Next slide, please. Sharing the presentation. First thing I want you to know is we have a number of recorded presentations. This won't surprise you. It's located on our freedomteamsupport.com site under presentations. I generally ask someone in the connection, hey, would you be open to jump on a Zoom for 15 minutes? Well, I've got a presentation right there that's 15 minutes long. That's why I ask for 15 minutes. If you want a different presentation, and they're all very good for different purposes. Now, when I say different purposes, meaning each of us present the way we want to present. Sometimes you try to match, oh, I think this guy will like Eric. Oh, I think this guy will like Jeff. Oh, I think this guy will like Tim. Oh, I think this woman will like Brent. And the answer is, I believe that's too much heavy lifting. I promise you, I've sponsored a boatload of people with all of the presentations, and you can too. If you find one that you love, use it. If you're not sure which one to use, mine's the shortest, and it's the one we normally set up. How do you build your business? Here's how we do it. We Zoom, and then Zoom, and Zoom, and Zoom, and Zoom. Sending the video rarely works. I highly recommend you do not send videos to people unless you've set up a Zoom and you say, look, I'm going to send you a short presentation. If you get a chance to watch it before, then we can dive a little deeper on what may or may not be interesting. If you don't watch it, we'll go through it when you show up. But I'll see you on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Get an account from Zoom. It's about $15 and learn to get them to it. Remember I said originally you need to learn to become a professional inviter. It'll prove 6 figures, 7 figures for some of us, right? Think about this. If you can learn how to invite people and get them to your Zoom, you will win. Someone in your upline will always be available to assist you. Just let us know when the Zoom's set, and we'll either come in at the beginning or come in the middle, and we'll be there for the next phase, which is answering questions. Remember, at any time, if you're being pushed back, in any time, if someone says, you know, timing may not be right for me anytime, always book a meeting from a meeting, but especially at the end of any presentation. The 6th step in our 7 steps is to answer questions. Inviting your upline partner to join your Zoom is always the most valuable way to get an assist when answering any kind of questions. If you're relatively new to eXp, even if you're not new to the industry, you know, we know eXp better than you do. So invite someone in your upline who's vested to help you, and there will be someone there to help you. As the video concludes, I like to say something like this. Hey, I'm sure now you see why so many find eXp interesting. I'm always curious, Ginger, what benefits you may like or that you may have questions about. And I pause. Often they will say, you know, I really, just have to digest it. And I say, great, I'm going to send you a follow-up email with the presentation and some other little things. Ask Sean Sturrock for that. By the way, go in the chat box and say follow-up email with your email. You'll put follow-up email in the chat box and put your email address. And Sean, if you'll grab those names so you can send them, that would be awesome. But if they say, I'm not sure, or tell me a little bit about that, I always want to go to the second thing as well. If they say, look, it's a lot to digest, give me some time to think, I will always go to, okay, I'd also love to hear real quick before we jump off, is there anything that bothers you or concerns you about what you saw? See, these are the two prime reasons people will make a move. They see something they like, or why they wouldn't move. They're concerned about something that you wouldn't or haven't had the opportunity to answer. When I tell you that these two, the second and third items that I have on this sheet, literally guide the rest of your follow-up process, I use those lines every single time as we're beginning to conclude any meeting, even a follow-up. So, did we cover one of the things that were interesting? Is there anything else that's interesting or are you curious about as far as the benefits of eXp? Oh, no, I think I'm pretty good. Okay, is there anything else that's concerning you? Anything that you don't clearly understand that sort of bothers you? If they don't talk about it, it'll roll around in their brain and you'll never know why they won't talk to you. The agents who are negative or not interested are not looking for you. That's okay. Don't waste your time or energy trying to convince them that's not the business we're in. And again, book a meeting from a meeting. The seventh step, and critical for those of you doing the work, it's getting yourself to if the goal is a six-figure income, residually and passively, because you've brought in great agents that sell capping amount or more, 3 million or more is ideal. And if you help them build a small group and you take care of them well, they're not likely to leave. So it can be a passive residual income for a long time. If that's the goal, then here's what I'm going to tell you. Only expect long-term results after you've put in enough consistent activity to be able to help you improve. And the only way I know to improve when it comes to these kind of things is an outside ear, an outside opinion of someone that's vested to help me, that understands the game I'm in. This is a model I designed years ago on a book I wrote years ago, but it covers all the things we've just talked about. If your dream is strong enough and your belief is comfortable, you will be urgent to make calls. If you're not making calls, you either have a motivation problem or a concern problem. Let's address it. Don't try to be active if you're not urgent. Let's spend the time getting your head right and then get you into activity. But understand, when you're in activity, you're going to go one of two directions. At some point, remember, it's lonely out there. Consistency is your only friend until you have results. Bottom line to it is, when you're in activity, you're going to find yourself throughout the day or week, every day, every week, wondering, should I? Should I not? Should I make more calls? Should I not? When that's happening, you have a dream and belief problem. When that's not happening, when you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to bring in a testimonial towards the end of this with Tim Hollenden. And Tim, I don't think will be there. He'll tell you what's happened for him over the last handful of days. And he'll tell you that because he's been making calls and having comfort in making them, he is driven to make more. Now, driven to make more doesn't mean he's going to have more success other than hitting agents that are looking. But if you want to hit more agents looking, improve what you're saying and do that by counseling upline. Lastly, I'm going to invite you to meet me every Thursday. 52 weeks a year. I'm here almost every Thursday. I generally train for 10 or 15 minutes, and then we do a Q&A of whatever's in your mind. I'm going to tell you, if you want six figures flowing in the next 2 to 5 years with an idea that 16,000 this year, 90,000 next year, 300,000 in the third, fourth, fifth year, or numbers similar to that, I think spending an hour a week learning what you're doing, hearing it again, improving what you're doing will be of value. I'm going to play one short video, and then we're going to open it up and talk to answer questions and hear a few testimonials. Bear with me as I pull this up. But I understand, I believe the video I'm about to show you should be motivational, inspirational, educational, but more than any of those, it should constantly remind you that there is someone there to assist. Enjoy, my friend Lisa.
7 words that will change your business. When you sit down with a new person, or you are the new person being sat down with, you have to understand the relationship, and then you have to understand the roles in the relationship. Yeah. Oh. Well, it's okay. I wouldn't be me if I didn't screw up something. Is this right? Will help you build your business. Okay. This is the relationship between the mentor, the upline, the superstar, and the person who earns their attention. I will help you build your business. Now the roles. The most important thing in your business is the word that sits in the middle of these 7. What's that word? You. It is your business. You know what your job is? Everything that follows you. You build your business. You build it. You know what the mentor's job is? In this case, I'll take that role. You know what my job is? I will help you. You build your business. I will help you. If you're not doing your job, I don't have one. When Eric goes through the 7 skills, every company has a system, every good leader has a system he works with. It usually starts with making a list. You know why it starts with making a list? When you're brand new, you know what you know about network marketing? Absolutely nothing. I don't care where you come from. I don't care how much knowledge you have. I don't care how good you were at what you did before.
Whether it's network marketing or recruiting agents, it's the same activity.
Is new. And the only thing you bring to the party is a group of people who trust you enough to listen to you and be connected to information about a product or service, an opportunity, a business that they know nothing about. So your list of contacts is your biggest asset. That and your ability to shut your mouth, open your ears, and immerse yourself in listening, watching other people do their job, which is to present for you till you can. How does a baby learn to talk? They don't go to language school. They're around people that talk, and they listen, and one day you cannot shut them up. That's how you learn to do the business, right?
And so I want everybody to understand that when you come back on Thursdays, you're going to hear other people go through scenarios that they're going through, and that's your way of listening so you can mimic and mirror and learn. And again, just like he said, at some point, we won't be able to shut you up either.
Instead,
Production, isn't it fun?
yeah. You've got a dream, a vision to chase. 6 figures in the making, find your space. But mindset rules what's in your head. Doubts are yuck, believe instead. You're not here to convince or plead. You just find the ones with the open need. You're the flashlight, guide their way. If they don't want it, that's okay. Learn, define your dream, make it clear. Freedom's calling, can you hear? Step by step, build your team. Agent attraction, live your dream.
Well, now we have it. Good deal. Thanks for everybody showing up. Tim, real quick, you had a testimony based on what's gone on over the last week or so. Unmute yourself and tell people what's going on.
Yeah, 2 things before I answer that, if I may. I want to remind everybody that eXp actually pays a bonus on the agent's level 1 that you attract first year. You get 4,000, not up to 2,800, but up to 4,000 if they're a capping agent. So that's 20,000 on your level 1 in your chart that Eric's going to send you if you left your email for him to send that to. Second thing is, when you heard you can have a Zoom account for X dollars a month, if you're that agent that's, oh my gosh, I'm dying right now, I cannot afford another penny, go get a free Zoom account. The free Zoom account gives you a limit of a 45-minute meeting, but it's free. You can absolutely start with that and not spend any money. Now, what the question Eric asked me, I'm going to be transparent here. I've been in a funk for 2 years regarding agent attraction for various reasons that I won't get into. But I made the commitment at the end of last year, and I built a system that I'm going to share with you and kind of co-teach the meeting on the 20th that Eric spoke about. I built a spreadsheet for me to set my goals in, and then I built a weekly call sheet for me to track it. And I wanted to start Thursday, the 2nd of January, and I didn't. And I wanted to start Friday, the 3rd of January, and I didn't. And I wanted to start Monday, the 6th of January, and I didn't. But I started Tuesday. And by about the 6th or 7th call, my goal, my plan is I'm going to make 8 phone calls a day. And I'm going to track how many conversations I have. I'm going to track how many appointments I set. I'm going to track how many appointments that actually came through. People didn't stand me up. And I'm going to track how many applications they make with the eXp Join app. And the reason I'm doing this is the spreadsheet I'm going to show you allows you to make assumptive percentages on, okay, if I call 10 people, what percentage are going to answer their phone? What percentage of those will I talk to? What percentage of those will I be successful scheduling an appointment? So I'm going to track this. I don't know how long, at least 30 days, maybe 90 days, maybe 6 months, maybe all year. But the point is, the side of this sheet that I'm going to share with you on the 20th are totals. I can total every day. I can total every week. I can total every month in the spreadsheet and adjust the accuracy of my percentages. If you're starting out, you may have very low percentages. If you've been doing this for a while, like your Freedom Team founders have, you may have a higher percentage. Yes, I'll share that sheet, but not until the 20th. Sorry, Toy Brother. You got to show up on the 20th to get it. But I will tell you this. When I used to make calls, it was very frustrating because I would make 5 or 6 calls and some days I wouldn't talk to anybody. But right now, agents are hungry. Agents had a worse year last year and the year before than prior years. They are searching for a solution. We can be that solution. And talking about Eric's mindset training, which was freaking awesome, by the way, brother. You spend a lot of time on that, and I appreciate that, and your fellow founders appreciate that, and I know the audience does. But the mindset is key. I sat down, having done this before, knowing that it's going to be a rough start, but all I got to do is 8 in a day, 8 phone calls, like Eric said. That's 8 to 20 minutes. Does not take long. Leave a message. I used to not ever leave a message, even though Eric taught us to, because I didn't want to be bothered when they called me back 6 hours later, because I time blocked that I'm only going to do this for 30 minutes every morning from 9 to 9:30. Well, my mindset changed. Okay, now I'm a little more hungry, like some of you might be, than I was in prior years when we were kicking butt in real estate and attraction. Now I'm a little hungrier. So I said, okay, I'm going to be bothered. I'm going to leave that message now. And you know, all but 2 people in what's now equivalent to almost 4 days worth of work. Because once I hit my goal on Tuesday and my 8 calls, I went back and I made the Monday calls, I made the Friday calls, and now I'm making last Thursday's calls that I didn't do. I'm catching up because I'm going to put in the work. But what I wanted to share with you is, and I told Eric this, and that's why he asked me to come on and talk about this. After about 6 calls, I'm like, holy shit, this is good. I'm getting responses. Agents are actually answering their phone, in part because I'm calling agents in Louisville, Kentucky, and Louisville got 10 inches of snow this week, and we're going to get more tomorrow. So they're home. They're more likely to answer their phone when they're home, and they're willing to have conversations. So quick results, just to show you what this can do. I had 8, 16, 24, 26. I've made 30 phone calls, and I'm not done for today yet. Out of those 30, I've had 22 conversations, which is a pretty high percentage. It's normally not near that good. I've set 7 appointments. out of 22 conversations. Now, I've done it longer than many of you, so my percentages are going to be a little higher. We'll talk more about this on the 20th. But that motivated the shit out of me, pardon my French, to keep going. I got on the phone Tuesday when I said, okay, I'm just going to sit down and make my 8 calls, and I'm not going to worry about last year. I'm going to forgive myself for not doing that. That's also important. Don't beat yourself up. Forgive yourself and move on. Consistency, as he said, is the key here. But I didn't beat myself up, and I didn't want to stop. I probably put 2.5 hours of calls in Tuesday because it was so exciting to get agents on the phone that were willing to talk and willing to schedule an appointment and so forth. So we love you guys. We're here for you guys. You know, the agent that's most directly above you in your eXp organization, that person certainly has a financial incentive to help you. So please, please, please out to them and make it a freaking awesome 2025.
You neglect. Great job, Tim. But you neglected to tell them that you've been sort of sidewinded for 2 years while you've been making a 6-figure income in rev share, because at the beginning you set that up. You did the work at the beginning because you were motivated. Yep. Then you got to a comfort level financially and didn't need to necessarily push. See, money does affect you, people. Dig the well when you don't need the money, and then all of a sudden you'll never need to dig another well. Great job, Tim. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Questions? We've got about 10 minutes left. I'll stick around for a few extra minutes if somebody needs. I am going to redo the presentation, change a couple of things on the slide, make it more production oriented, but I'm really hopeful. There was no trial with this. This was, this is Saturday Night Live. This is Thursday Day Live. So first time I ever done it. My wife sitting next to me, Emily, did an incredible job production-wise until 2 o'clock in the morning, it felt like. So I want you to know that we had no chance to practice it. So forgive me if the things I did distracted you. Shame on you. The content is rich. The timing is right, and you are capable. We want 2025 to be your year, and everything I've stated on on that presentation will dictate your success. If I thought you needed, or truthfully, if any other founders thought you needed more information, it would be on those sheets. Start with what you got and grow from there. Anybody have a question for me? Jump on microphone, ask away. Or a comment.
I want the music.
Well, yeah. The Agent Attraction Anthem will be available. This, by the way, recording will be in the Freedom Team, workplace group in the feed. I'll get the anthem out there, I'm sure, as well. Anybody have a comment?
Eric, David from Memphis, Tennessee.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I wish when my coach, wow, you have the hours at 10 o'clock for exercise, but I love your mindset thing. And it's always reminding you did an awesome job. First want to say you just a compliment. You did an awesome job. I did learn from you guys. So I got your video with your permission already. So I have an AI turn it to a music video within 2 minutes.
Yep.
And I put my Dati team, Freedom team, and all that with all the picture of my supporter like Sean and everybody love it. It's a small rap song, but thank you for everything you did. One thing that I learned that I specialize coaching people on investment. So it's like buying a $200,000 home, and you will make about $1,000 something a month. But if you got a top producer, it could give you, a long term without a hassle or headache, go to court and all that stuff. So that's kind of give me the idea for my next presentation, kind of give and take, compare between attraction and getting a rental property.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome, David. Always nice to have you here. I see a lot of new, and I do appreciate you coming back all the time. Toy, same for you. Sean, you got something, or you just raised your hand?
Yeah, no. I was just going to mention, because I know there's a couple people that are brand new to real estate on here. I'm just going to give them just one other way to build that list. This is just what I had to do for you guys that may not know. I was new to real estate when I joined eXp, so I didn't really have, all these different relationships, people I'd done deals with. So obviously looked at my social media, came up with about 12 names, reached out to all 12 of them in the first few weeks, was very fortunate and blessed. About 6 months into it, 10 out of those 12 moved forward. But by the end of the year, I had added another 6. So I had 16 frontline agents. It led to 400. So like he said, I was very blessed. I found 3 out of those 16 that I put in, they began doing what I was doing. Regardless of me, they began building, but I had to find 16. But I'm just telling you guys, I had to cold call, but it wasn't a cold call to me because it went like this. After my 12 names, I didn't know anybody. And all I wanted to do was build RevShare. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I got to start going to functions. How am I going to meet agents? I picked up my phone. I'm sure a lot of you guys have hundreds of names in your phone. And I thought, wait a second, I'm in my late 50s, probably almost everybody in my phone has probably bought a house. They know an agent. I just began to text 20 people a day. So this is for you folks that are new going, I've never sold real estate. How could I do this? I need to get some transactions under my belt. No, you don't. Every time I'd make calls, no one asked me about me. So Sean, how long you been in, real estate? Where were you at before eXp? What's your production numbers? No one ever asked because I'm asking the questions. I only say that to go, sending out 20 texts a day. And about the first 3 months, I generated well over 500 agents' names, and they were all a lead from a friend. So if Eric gave me Tim, and Eric wasn't in real estate, just a buddy of mine, just for you guys that are new, all I'd do was call Tim and say, hey, Tim, hey, this is Sean Strock, real estate agent here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Hey, just talking to a good friend of ours, Eric Golden. And I was asking him, who's a really good agent there in Alabama? And he mentioned your name. Dude, that is awesome. Tim, if you don't mind me asking, how again do you know Eric? That was my approach. It led to a warm call right out of the gate. And I always say this to wrap up. In the first 10 seconds of making that call, when they responded, I knew if the appointment was going to be set before I said it. In other words, if Tim's response was, oh my gosh, Eric is awesome, bro. He and I go hunting every single year. If it's a compliment, and he started to get excited that I mentioned Eric's name, appointment set before I asked. Versus, it's going to come up from time to time, I'd call and Tim would go, Eric, who? And I'd be, yeah, Eric, he said that he sold you a house a few years ago. Yeah, I think I remember. Anyway, why are you calling? Okay, that was a different call, right? Like, all right, now I got some work to do. I just wanted to throw that out for you that are new that might be thinking, I can't do this right now. Please understand you can. If you get good at asking questions, they're not going to start asking you about your business. At least they did not me for the last 7.5 years. So just want to throw that out because I know there's some people that are new to eXp here and new to real estate.
Yeah, thank you for that, Mr. Sean. As we close up, anybody have a final question or comment? Don't forget, this coming Monday, we're going to talk about the new, again, for new agents. If you're going to call people, you might as well call people who are more likely to move. And we're going to talk about that on Monday's training, or Monday's Zoom, same time, same link. And then a week from Monday, don't miss that one. Your head controls everything. And we're going to spend an hour talking about how to, everybody knows ChatGPT at this point, right? Everybody show of hands. Everybody knows ChatGPT. And everybody uses it, for some things. But then we heard you should train it to make it more effective. Well, that's what we're doing on the 20th. We're going to train your brain to make it more effective to get you to 6-figure residual in revenue share. And by the way, it'll flip and help your transaction side as well. So with that said, anybody have a final question? If not, we'll bow out for the week.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, excellent job, Eric. I know you
You're
took
welcome.
time, you guys, to set that up. Really was awesome, brother.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, brother.
It'll get better. It's like your first call. It doesn't always go right, but wait, your first call. It doesn't always go right, but if they're open-minded, you're excellent. So thanks for those that think I'm excellent, and those that don't, well, maybe you're just not looking. Have a great rest of the day, guys.
Thanks, guys.